What's up guys, Dylon here, and today we're doing a test on the Vitruvian here. Let's make sure I can see it right there in the background. So we're going to try and break it. Not really break it. So I was told by Vitruvian that they did an update to the firmware that should solve the problem that I've been having, that I've made a couple other videos about. So if you've been following along, the problem is basically at high weights and fast speeds of doing lifts, primarily the deadlift, sumo deadlift, and conventional deadlift, sometimes on the squats. Basically the firmware tells the motor to stop, cut the resistance, so the machine doesn't break or the person doesn't get hurt. And when I talked to Vitruvian, they basically said that issue, because they replaced my machine twice. So this is my third machine. They replaced it twice, and they said that, hey, we're only finding that on your machine, but what we think is happening is like you found a bug in the firmware to where you're basically overriding it on accident. And so that shouldn't do that, and because it's doing it, they just have to rewrite it. And it makes sense that they would do something like that, or the firmware would be set up like that, and that could happen because you got to write the program on this machine, because it's a smart machine, to where it protects the users. And to where, because when someone's lifting 400 pounds, 300, 400 pounds, that they're not going to get hurt. You don't want them getting hurt. You want them to be able to work out for a while. You want them to be effective, but you also don't want to get sued as a company as well. So there's a fine line between performance and safety that you got to walk, and you got to make sure that is ironed out. And so it's just a natural thing with these machines. I'm going to test this. We're going to do this first rep at 300, 150 on each side. I'm going to try to lift it pretty quick. I'm going to do 8 reps. I'm going to go up in weight each set. But I'm going to see if I can recreate that issue and see if they fix it with the firmware, see if I notice anything different. And just so you know, I am using time on retention mode and beast mode. So let's give it a shot. All right. So let's, right here. And we are going to do, we can do like this. Grip slips. All right, should load after this one. There we go. So we're all done there. And one thing that I felt, that was at 150 pounds, and I was trying to lift it up with good force on there, not smooth and consistent. Generally, for these exercises, you probably want to be smooth and consistent with your lifts. Hey there, Lulu. She always comes in when I'm working out. But I was trying to do it with a good amount of force on there, just to see how the machine would respond. And I felt, while lifting at 300 pounds, just like a little bit of a float in the resistance. And I don't know if you can see on the video, but it almost seems pulling and the resistance skips a little bit, and then it re-engages. But the machine didn't have the error. I didn't have the issue or anything like that. If I'm lifting much smoother, it might be a different story. We're gonna go and we're gonna hit, let's do 5 reps. And we're gonna do 5 reps at 350. Okay, 5 reps, 350 right there. Time our attention and beast mode. Let's see what happens here. All right. Hey, go over there. One over there. She always wants to go outside when I'm working out, even though she just was outside. All right. Loading. 50. All right. The same issue was happening, but I don't know if you can tell, when I would go slow and smooth on a couple of those reps, the resistance was great, it was on point. when I really pushed it, pulling hard, because I can pull a lot more than 350, that's where I felt the machine skip a little bit. But it didn't give out on me. It just skipped a little. Again, it felt like it unweighted a little bit. The next step up is 400. And we're gonna see 4 reps at 400 pounds, which the capacity of this machine is 440, the max resistance that you can get on this thing. So we're doing 200 per side, 4 reps right there, and we're gonna see the difference. I'll probably have to do reverse grip on my grip, but we're gonna see if that, what we want for this, and the ideal situation. One, it's great that they fixed it and that I'm not getting the flashing orange light like you might have seen in my other video, and the resistance wasn't giving out so far. Even when I was pulling really hard, I was pulling harder than I should have pulled on this machine. So it's good that it engaged there. What you want is like on these heavier lifts, like where you're really exerting yourself and pushing yourself. I think what happens is like it's really easy to exert a lot of force really quickly at certain positions in the movement. And I'm no expert on this, but that can quickly overwhelm the machine or trigger a sensor or trigger a warning for the machine. Hey, maybe something's not right. Shut it off so no one gets hurt. I completely understand that type of thing happening, especially at these heavier weights. But I was pulling pretty hard at 350. And you saw that. I wouldn't normally pull that hard. I wouldn't recommend you pull that hard when you're doing workouts on the Vitruvian. It's not really made for that. That's not the type of machine it is, or at least at this point in time, where you want to try to pull as hard as you can. You really only do that when you're doing like a hang clean or something like that. One of those Olympic lifts that are snatch where you need to get the bar out as fast as you can and get under it. This one, it works really well when you're smooth and controlled both up and down. You're gonna get some of the most benefits out of it. So let's try this. We're on 400 pounds. Let's get after it. Right. Reverse this grip. All right, that weight is loaded. There we go. Did you see that slip? But it smooth and controlled was just fine. Again, that's fixed. When I pulled really hard at 400, you probably saw it. My hat came off a little bit. I moved it up really fast. The tension loosened up some, or didn't catch it as easily. I think I'm repeating it, just wanted you to see, just wanted to show this thing. But clearly they fixed it. Or at least they've taken a step forward with the firmware on this machine, because it would have given out before. We're gonna test it at the limit at 440. We're gonna do 4 reps again at 440 at the peak of this machine. But when I was slow and smooth, you could see that. But when I was really explosive, you could see with the machine, the tension floated in there. At least that's what I felt. Which is much better than it, at least from the user experience, it's much better than the machine having one cable give out and then flashing orange lights, you have to reset it and all that kind of stuff. It's much better that they have it just release that tension when you pull too hard. Vitruvian, if you're watching this, great job on making these changes. But I imagine this is just something that you guys can dial in and fine tune just a little bit better as you go on, as you get more data with your algorithms and everything, and your feedback, and even new iterations of the machine, which is going to be cool to see. But it looks like they've done a good job trying to fix this problem, because any other time that I had done something like this to try and see if I could recreate that problem, I've been able to. I haven't been able to fully recreate it yet. But we have the final challenge. 4 reps for 220 pounds, and machine's been put through the ringer so far, right? So I'm getting a workout, but these machines also can get a workout too, just with the heat and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm no engineer, but you know, if you use something for a while, it can wear it down a little bit. Maybe it needs to recover. Who knows? It's a good machine though. All right, let's hit this. 440. Trying to get 4 reps. So on this one, what I'm going to do, it's a lot of weight, The first rep is a gimme rep, right? You don't ever get the full loaded weight on this. But then the second rep, I'm gonna pull up nice and slow and smooth. The third rep, I'm gonna try to pull fast. And then the fourth rep, we'll see how I feel with that rep. But get this going. Right, weight's loaded. That's good. All right, here's the fast one. Right, that was what happened when I pulled fast. That was slow. All right, got that completed. Just to conclude, the same feeling, losing that tension when it's pulled really fast. I fell back. It's not ideal. If you're doing this much weight, obviously be careful if you recreate this at home. Trying to pull really hard, really fast can be dangerous, right? You need to have control of your body, have consistency, right? When you're lifting, you don't want to be overexerting at certain weight limits or exercises. Again, I'm not an expert. It's just stuff I've learned. If you find yourself doing that, it might mean that you're lifting too much weight and you're trying to overcompensate. Ideally with deadlifts, squats, these things, especially on the Vitruvian, smooth is better. Instead of trying to explode up, being smooth and consistent throughout the rep is going to be better off for your workout, but also it uses this tool a lot better. Okay, like I said, this is not like an explosiveness machine where you want to go as fast as possible, right? We're not Olympic lifting here. Smooth and controlled are going to be key. And when I did those deadlifts at 440 pounds, 400 pounds at every level, when I did it smooth and controlled, not a problem. When I try to do fast and explosive, really fast and really explosive, and I know I can generate, this is going to be different for each one of us because the amount of force we can generate is going to be slightly different. I know I can generate enough force to pull more than 440 pounds off the ground. Like I've done it with traditional weights and everything like that. I know I can exert more force than this machine is equipped to handle. In this instance, with the updated firmware that they told me about, the machine did fine, right? It lowered the resistance when I exceeded what it was supposed to do. It didn't shut off. It didn't make me have to stop my workout. Sure, it was an inconvenience. You saw me fall backwards. That can be dangerous, but I wasn't necessarily using the machine correctly in that situation. And I don't recommend lifting like that. But I was doing that to show you and just test it out for you to see. Would it be cool if the machine could handle those super explosive movements just fine? Yeah, that would be really cool. But if I'm exerting more force than the motors are rated to handle, I don't expect them to keep up. And the machine's reaction to those situations, in this instance, I much prefer this rather than the situation before where the motor would give out and the machine would flash and I'd have to reset it and all that kind of stuff. This is a perfectly, at least from my perspective, and of course Vitruvian should look at the data on this and make sure they dial it in, fine tune and dial it in and make sure that it's smooth and controlled and it doesn't like reapply the weight too quickly to where it floats and then applies and you could get hurt that way. We don't want that. I didn't necessarily feel like that was the case here, but they can see that with the data and the timing of the force application on their end. But I think this was a perfectly adequate change and upgrade that they made to the machine, and it's really cool because when I first started these videos, one of the comments was that it potentially could have been the motor in the machine that was just getting overpowered and not capable of handling the weight that the machine was stated that it could apply, the resistance it could apply. But what this has shown to me is that the motor's resistors can handle resistance up to 440 pounds. And then when it goes over that, like when I'm pulling really hard, but I'm pulling smooth, machine handles fine. When I'm pulling harder and exerting more force than what these resistors are designed to handle, the software, the firmware kicks in and makes an adjustment so the user and the machine doesn't get broken. And I think that's a really good thing. And I think it's cool how with the firmware patch, I'm not experiencing that same problem, even though I tried to recreate it. that is it for this. I just want to say, just to conclude, just kudos to Vitruvian. Like I said all along, is they've been very responsive, very communicative with this. They've wanted to solve this problem. Like again, this is the third machine they've shipped me. So like they've spent money to try and figure this out. And they've also spent money to make sure that as a customer that I'm happy with the product. They've honored their warranty. So that has been fantastic. And their warranty department has kept me updated on new updates to their firmware. I imagine like this is only going to get better and better over time, like I've said. So they've been great since day one for their customer service. The product, I love this thing. This thing is amazing. If you're thinking about getting one of these, the combination of it being a cool startup company, really cool idea, just a really awesome product. It works at the 440 pounds when you use it correctly. That is amazing what you can do with this thing. It's just such a cool thing. And for a company like this to be a cool, like a startup, this product's only going to get better over time as more people use it, as they get more capital to reinvest in the company and add on things. Like, I'm really excited for the future of machines like this and the future of Vitruvian and the company. There's a lot of cool things in the future for them. So if you're looking at the machine, I highly recommend it. Definitely check out some other videos to get more insights. But if you want to support the channel, use discount code DBStrong. It's going to be in the comments in the description below, but you get $100 off your purchase of Vitruvian, and it helps. It's affiliate code. You can also use the affiliate link below. I get a small commission on that if you buy a machine, which is very helpful for me, for me to make these videos. Again, if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave those below. I'll be happy to address those. If you want to see any other types of videos or ask anything about my workouts or whatever it is, let me know. I love talking about this kind of stuff. Great job, Vitruvian. The issue that I've run into has seemed to be solved. I'm definitely satisfied by this result at this point in time and just excited for the future. So that's it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.